I've used ChatGPT a whole bunch. I don't know if I've used it every day, but I've used it multiple times a week for a good chunk of time. In terms of like applications I use regularly, it's Gmail, Slack, and ChatGPT are probably like, well, and Clay, probably Clay more than GPT are probably like the top four that I'm in all the time. I would say I found myself in ChatGPT oftentimes, and I've done something and I'm like, oh, cool, I'm finally happy with this. And I look at the clock and I'm like, oh, I just did something in 2 hours that I probably could have done in 45 minutes. So I want to start with, what am I doing wrong? And like, how do I identify the time and place for me to use ChatGPT? Because I think if you're an SDR and you're using it to write, a cold email one at a time for your campaigns, you're probably doing it wrong. But if you are, using it to formulate ideas and get, I don't know. So this is why we've got Drew here. So we've got Drew Williams, founder at Sales Playbook, builder. We're friends on LinkedIn. We've been chatting for a while, back and forth, and we both kind of aligned around the AI space. And we wanted to talk about the AI and the implications of AI in sales. Obviously, AI is here. It's not general AI, but it's a pretty strong AI, pretty strong large language models in the form of OpenAI, and all of us salespeople suddenly did not become unemployed. This is a tool that's going to help us all level up. It'll be like the Iron Man suit. We're all going to be Tony Stark. And so I'm curious, Drew, I've spent so much time, I've wasted a ton of time in OpenAI doing things, automating things that are writing things that I probably shouldn't have. Help me understand, what's the right way, what's the wrong way to kind of look at this from a when and where perspective?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks for the introduction. And I think number one, you're not wrong. Like, don't feel bad for spending time playing with it. I think we have to give ourselves permission. Number one, like, this is an emergent technology, right? This hasn't been around for 10 years. There is no playbook on it. There's no like proven best practices that large sales organizations have used it. They have all these case studies and use cases of it. There's new tools that are being developed like by the second. ChatGPT changes every single week or every couple of days. There's the plugins, different versions, paid versions. So I think you're right. And I think everybody should be doing this, is just playing around and getting used to that tool. That's the first thing you should just do, is jump into it and not be afraid of it. Because you think of the people who get lost, you think of your grandparents or parents who just ignore the technology because they pick it up and they can't play with it, or they can't use it. They get a bad experience with it. Then they put it down and be like, oh, this is not for me. It's not really my thing. I'm just going to let the other people kind of deal with it. And I'm just going to pass it off because I'm not getting a good experience with it. So I think, like, don't feel bad for playing around, and anybody else who is playing around and find yourself in a rabbit hole at 10 p.m. and you just spent 2 hours on going down a rabbit hole in ChatGPT. That's part of learning just the tool and how to interact with it.